Breaking news, the first 100 days of President Donald Trump's return to the White House have shaken both Washington and the wider world. From the moment his hand came off the Bible at the swearing-in ceremony, Trump wasted no time wielding executive power with swift, sweeping decisions that redefined the tone and direction of American governance. In just over 3 months, the nation has been pulled into a whirlwind of political transformation, economic upheaval, and diplomatic confrontations that signal a new and deeply controversial phase of U.S. leadership. Within hours of taking office, Trump declared a national emergency at the southern border, reigniting the debate over immigration and border security. In one of his earliest acts, he signed executive orders to dismantle a wide range of Biden-era policies, unraveling climate initiatives, halting student loan relief, and reversing workplace diversity mandates. The orders came at a frenetic pace, dozens within the first few weeks, demonstrating Trump's commitment to a bold top-down approach. But with that speed came sharp criticism, legal battles, and unrest at home and abroad. One of Trump's most consequential moves was the immediate imposition of sweeping new tariffs on imported goods. Arguing that the United States had long been taken advantage of in global trade, Trump insisted that higher tariffs would force renegotiations, revitalize American manufacturing, and restore economic sovereignty. But while he heralded the policy as a long overdue correction, markets responded with unease. Wall Street tumbled, international partners bristled, and inflationary pressure began building. Fast. Americans are already feeling the effects. In states like Michigan, once the heartland of American manufacturing, the cost of living is rising. In local diners, customers are now charged extra for egg-based meals as food prices continue to climb. Supply chain disruptions and higher import costs are being passed on to consumers. Some economists are warning that the economy may be headed for a stagflation scenario, slowed growth paired with persistently high prices. Despite the turbulence, Trump remains defiant. At a celebratory rally marking his 100th day in office, he hailed the tariffs as a major success and claimed the U.S. was already saving billions by leveling the playing field in trade. "We were losing billions of dollars a day," he told supporters, "but now we've turned the tide." His critics, however, argue that short-term pain is only deepening economic inequality and damaging consumer confidence. In interviews with Michigan residents, frustration is evident. Some hope Trump's second term would bring more stability and strategic decision-making. Instead, they see a presidency even more confrontational than before. One diner owner described it as treading water, expressing disappointment that the economy hasn't seen meaningful gains. Another lamented that after years of political whiplash, Americans are simply hoping things get better from here. On the international front, Trump's approach has been just as disruptive. His confrontation with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky grabbed headlines early on, when the two leaders met to discuss a possible resolution to the ongoing war with Russia. What was intended as a diplomatic overture turned into a combative exchange, with Trump reportedly pressuring Ukraine to accept territorial concessions. The move shocked allies and sparked outrage in Kyiv. Over the past 3 months, the Trump administration has leaked details of a proposed ceasefire deal that would allow Russia to retain control of occupied regions in eastern Ukraine and solidify its claim to Crimea. In return, the U.S. would push Ukraine to halt military action and agree to a de facto partition. Though the deal is unofficial, it has sparked fierce debate in Ukraine and among NATO allies, with many fearing it rewards aggression and undermines international law. In Ukraine's industrial hub of Zaporizhzhia, reactions are deeply divided. Some displaced families, weary from years of violence, say they might accept territorial loss if it guarantees peace. But frontline soldiers, who have sacrificed everything to defend their homeland, see the proposal as an unacceptable betrayal. One soldier standing amid the rubble of a steelworks facility told reporters, "We did not fight and die to give away our land. This isn't peace, it's surrender." The steelworks itself has become symbolic of the resilience of the Ukrainian people. Located just 40 kilometers from the active front line, it continues to operate under constant threat of drone and missile attacks. Its workers, many of whom live in underground shelters, embody Ukraine's determination not to be erased from the map. But even among them, the desire to end the war is palpable. even if no one agrees on what a just peace looks like. As the war rages, Trump is signaling impatience. White House officials warn that the U.S. may walk away from its role as mediator if a ceasefire isn't reached soon. This ultimatum has alarmed European allies, who worry that Trump's hardball tactics could destabilize the continent further and embolden authoritarian regimes elsewhere. And yet, Trump's influence isn't confined to the battlefield. His rhetoric and policy shifts are shaking political systems beyond America's borders. In Canada, his actions played a pivotal role in one of the most stunning election reversals in the country's history. Just weeks ago, the center-left Liberal Party was languishing in the polls. But when Trump announced new tariffs on Canadian imports and hinted at folding Canada into a broader North American superstate, the backlash was immediate. Mark Carney, a former Bank of England governor and political newcomer, seized the moment. Running as a pro-sovereignty, pro-globalism alternative to Trumpism, Carney's message resonated with Canadians who feared losing control of their economy and identity. His party surged to an unexpected victory, though just shy of an outright majority. Still, the result is a dramatic repudiation of populism and a signal that America's neighbors are not willing to be pawns in a geopolitical game. In his first public statements, Carney made it clear, Canada will only engage with the U.S. on equal terms. Speaking with journalists, he emphasized building new economic ties with Europe, the UK, and other reliable partners. A proposed Canada-UK trade deal is already in discussion, focusing on removing lingering tariff barriers and expanding defense cooperation. Trump's response? Dismissive. At his rally, he mocked Canada's electoral outcome, calling it another globalist failure. But behind the scenes, U.S. officials are worried. A diplomatic rift with Canada, one of America's closest allies, could jeopardize crucial trade routes, intelligence sharing, and regional stability. Back in Washington, Trump's domestic agenda is barreling forward. Plans are underway for large-scale tax cuts aimed at energizing the business sector. Simultaneously, he's pushing to eliminate affirmative action in federal hiring and education programs, vowing to erase what he calls woke ideology from American institutions. It's a cultural overhaul as much as a political one that promises to reshape everything from education to law enforcement to media. Next month, Trump will travel to Saudi Arabia, where he hopes to broker a historic normalization agreement between the kingdom and Israel. If successful, it would be a major diplomatic coup. But complications loom, especially as Trump increases pressure on Iran to dismantle its nuclear program. U.S. intelligence officials say back-channel talks have stalled and that tensions are escalating. Trump's hardline stance could either force a breakthrough or risk another Middle East conflict. With the first 100 days now in the books, one thing is clear. Trump's second presidency is anything but conventional. From executive orders bypassing Congress to sharp breaks with diplomatic norms, he is consolidating power and reshaping the office in ways that challenge institutional checks and balances. For supporters, he's a bold reformer, unafraid to take on the establishment. For critics, he's a dangerous autocrat moving the country closer to authoritarianism. And yet, in the crowd at Trump's Michigan rally, there's an undeniable sense of triumph. Chants of America First ring out as Trump lists his accomplishments, real or perceived, and vows to continue disrupting the status quo. Whether this trajectory leads to revival or ruin remains one of the most urgent questions facing the world today. For more detailed coverage, exclusive updates, and global insights, make sure you subscribe to Pulse of the World, your source for the stories shaping tomorrow.